Okay, so what we start with today is the constraints application on the SQL environment, and how exactly we are going to apply the constraints which we have learned. Right? Now, quickly, if anybody can repeat the constraints for me. Let's start with Arnav. Arnav, can you give me the constraints? Any two?
Ma'am, not null, default.
Okay, great. Lavanya, next two?
ing unique,
Not audible.
ing and unique,
Okay. Raghav, Khetrapal, the other ones? What are the others?
Ma'am, unique check.
Very good. Jishant, what we are left with? There are 6 of them. So one is left, I think. The one we did yesterday, that was foreign key. Right? So primary key, not null, unique, check, default, and foreign key. These are my 6 constraints with which we work. Okay? Now, first thing first is we have to understand the structure which we are trying to create here is the school scenario which we were talking about yesterday. That is this one. Okay. Now, first and the foremost thing what you have to remember is that when you want to create a table with the foreign key, because I'm going to set the dependencies to the primary key concerned, linked primary keys of that particular foreign key. So that is why the primary key table should be ready first. Like if I try to create the library table saying my admission number is a foreign key referring to admission number of the student table. Up student table, if it's not existing, he will not let me do it. Logical, right? है So first of all, the master table should be ready. Student and book. जहां से हम foreign key pick करेंगे अपना. Correct? So first of all, let's make the student table, let's make the book table, and then come to the library table with creating of the foreign key. Okay? I'm going to randomly take some constraints here. Let me move on to my database, which I have. Okay? And then I start creating my table student. STU1, I'm keeping it. Let's keep the background handy here. So I want admission number, ADM or ADNO. If possible, try to do along with me if you have your things installed. Or keep on writing it. Okay. Primary key. If you're not doing it on the system, write it down so that when your things are installed, you can practice and then you don't have problems that it gives you error. Okay. So admission number, sorry, I did not give the data type. Admission number, suppose I'm saying integer for primary key. I could have written it in the next line also, but anyway, first one done. Then name, char or varchar, whatever you want to give, 30. And let me keep this not null. Then class. Class I want to say should be more than equal to 4 and less than equal to 10. That's a constraint I want to put, right? So class int 2, maximum 2 size hoga. 2-digit size. Then check. Check has its own bracket. Now I'm saying class should be greater than equal to 4, because in my school I have got from 4 itself, and class less than equal to 12. Either you write like this, or what's the option I have for this one? What other option do I have to specify a range?
between,
Between, right? You want me to write it with between also?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is how you write it with the greater than and less than symbol. If it is between, then it is field name between the first value and and no other operator works, and the second value. Okay. Now next one is section. For section, I want to put a constraint which says, please allow A, B, C, D, E, F. So we'll use the in keyword there because multiple values is to begin. So I say section in का अपना bracket, not square bracket, sorry, half circle only. Let me keep in capital so that थोड़ा सा prominent करना. Okay. Now here I'm saying A, comma B, comma C. I'm not writing all of them. That will be just ABC only. Okay. Okay. And then city. Let me have city without any constraint. City, char, 25. Okay, I'm not giving any constraints. It's not essential to put
मैम
constraint for everything. Yeah.
मैम वो इनके बाद स्पेस है ना?
इनके बाद space है. ठीक है. Now the closing bracket for the opening of the entire command. मतलब this one. This bracket का closing I'm putting it now. Semicolon, enter. Now let's see the description of the table, how it is going to show me. So anytime you want to know that constraints are applied on this table or not, because creation तो तुम्हें दिखेगा नहीं. So how do you get to know about it?
मैम आपने मैम टेबल वो टेबल नेम
STU.
STU1 है.
Sorry. STU1. Now let's understand this description. Admission number int. Okay, I've given int primary null. No, null value not allowed. Okay, that's why it is no. So एक primary key में null value not allowed है, एक not null constraint में null value not allowed है. ठीक है, लिख दिया इसने दोनों. एक ये वाला primary key है, that also it has written. Check constraints it doesn't put specifically here. तो check constraint हमें नहीं पता लग सकता कि वो क्या है. Am I clear with this? Now let's insert and see what error comes if I'm making some mistake. Insert into STU1 values. And then I start with the admission number is int. So let me put this 1000. Use mark here. Abhas followed by class. Let my class be 9 and section be. Okay, हमको गलती करनी है ना इसमें. एक मिनट. Let my section be D. D is not allowed, है ना? And then my city can be anything. Let it be Delhi. And I close. Check constraint is violated. Can everybody see that? Is it visible? Okay.
Yes,
One
ma'am.
thumbs up from everybody.
Yes मैम.
Good. What about others? Shaurya, Rupui, Pavjot, Dishant, Yajas. Show me a thumbs up. Maitri. Okay.
Ma'am, I'm
Maitri.
doing it on my computer.
Okay, that's great. Dishant, what about you? Okay, great. So you can see this is how the constraint will be applicable and it will give you an error if you try to violate it. So let's correct it now. Let's have one entry which is correct. So this is how I am able to get my first record inserted. Now next let's try to violate this. Instead of 9, I'm giving 19. And I'm not changing anything. So अब देखो. Check constraint violated. ठीक है, अब मैं check constraint को ठीक करती हूँ. Duplicate entry 1000 for key primary not allowed because 1000 नाम से already एक entry हो चुका है. So primary key में multiple values similar नहीं हो सकते. So that is also shown to you. So you know what is the purpose of these constraints is errors. To stop those data entry errors. Basically that. Okay, you can make out. Now let's make the correct entry. This is my second data, 1001. Then I have few. Then I have 9, and then I have B, and then I have Delhi. I'm repeating again. If you are not able to do it on your system as of now, write it down, or else. I have one more option. Let's do that. Let me take you to an online compiler. There are many. I am sticking to pesa.io. There are many of them. You can follow any one of them. Okay. Pesa allows all these things for you to work with. Now let me go for SQL, MySQL. You can see this. Go for MySQL. Start MySQL online. You can do that. And here is the window to enter the code. And here will be your run command to save and run it. And here it will show you the output. Niche. Okay? So you can try it out here also. Whatever is written as of now can be kind of tested. And sometimes it takes time, is unable to connect to the server. So you have to just kind of run it once or twice. So वो चल जाता है. Net कटा बीच में कहीं से तो नहीं चल पाता. ठीक है? So you can try it out here also. No problem. And then there you can have an output thing done. At least you know that you're doing it correctly. Fine? So you may do it here also. Okay. So I have inserted the second record too. Now let's see the data from SDU1. Right? Now let's create quickly the second table which I need. I'm not entering all the data. If I need, in order to show you some kind of a constraint, I'll do that later. Okay. Now I want the book which has book ID, book name, and cost. So I'm saying create table BO1 BID. Method, did it work for you?
Ma'am, I'm still doing.
Acha,
Right.
okay. Anybody else who's doing it with me? Anybody
Yes,
else?
ma'am.
Okay, that's great. Yashvi, you are saying something, but you're not audible.
Ma'am, I'm
Somewhat.
doing with you.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. So if you have any issues, we can kind of share the screen and check it also. So here we create the next one. So BID, and my BID is, let's make a character thing. Character 4 maximum. I'm taking as of now. And this is the primary key for this table. Okay. Then we go about saying the other ones, which is B name and char 30. Okay. Next comes cost. Int something. 5. It's too much. 4. ठीक है, cost में check constraint डाल सकते हैं, but I'm not putting it because I've shown you already. Let me put and show you one more constraint, which is very interesting. That is date of purchase. अब date के लिए I want to put a constraint which is please don't allow any date of purchase entry or date entry which is more than the current date, which is pretty logical, right? So उसको लिखने का एक बहुत अच्छा तरीका है. So we say check constraint, and I'm simply saying my DOP should be less than or equal to. There's a function in SQL called as sysdate, which returns you the current system date basically, right? So sysdate का जो output है, it will automatically be able to check it out. Okay, sysdate. Actually, these functions have to be done in class 12, but I'm just introducing it here so that you can actually see the utility of this. This is very excellent concept as such in SQL. Okay, so this is done. And then I close.
Can you repeat the use of this function?
System date is simply going to show you the current date. I'll just show it to you. Wait. My table is done. Okay. Select. We use these functions with the select command only. Sysdate. Current data type. Can you see that? So हम उसके साथ कंपेयर कर रहे हैं कि current date से less होना चाहिए. Actually, there's one more per date that will only give you the date. Yeah, so I can use cur date also, or I may use sysdate also. Both works. Sysdate gives you date and time both. Cur date gives you only current date. So here I may use a sysdate or a cur date both. Either of the two, I mean. Right. Now let's check this. That I am inserting a book detail where I'm putting the purchase date of next year. Okay. Does it allow me or not? Rest of the things I've already shown you. Insert into book. No, what's my book? BO1. values. Let my first be something like B10 Python 540. So I'm saying B10, comma, Python, comma, 540. Oh, one more, which is date of purchase. So date of purchase, suppose I'm saying 2026, followed by whichever month, whichever day. ये देखो check constraint is validated. ठीक है? So it is not allowing me any date which is
मैम
more
क्यों
than
ऐसा क्या हुआ?
because I have given him na that the date of purchase should be less than the current date,
ओके,
and I have taken the date of 2026.
ठीक है।
ठीक है? अब इसको हम कर देते हैं 24 और maybe 23 and let the days be same day and month. So it will allow me. Right? So this is something interesting that हम लोग date पे भी check लगा सकते हैं. The basic check that you want to put कि my date of purchase should be in the range of January to March of this year or something, that also can be done. But this is a very significant constraint because here we are trying to say that current date से ज़्यादा नहीं हो सकता, which is pretty logical. Right? So this is how I've put the constraints here. Now I'm going to learn how to create my library table with the foreign key. Okay? Now, others, have you been able to create the student table? Anybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Yes,
great.
ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes.
even this one, the book one.
Acha, both are done. Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's wonderful. चलो अब फॉरेन की करते हैं. फॉरेन की में देखते हैं वो मुझे अलाउ करता है वो चीज और नॉट, जो हम कह रहे हैं उसको कि मुझे डिपेंडेंसी चाहिए. ओके, लेट्स स्टार्ट विद इट नाउ. And how to write the foreign key actually. Acha, there's one more thing I would like to talk about, that is, and I don't have time. Do I have? Oh, I have. Okay. When you write the constraints in front of the field, it's called field level constraint. ठीक है? Now in this table, library table में जब मुझे a combination of admission number and date of issue को field बनाना, primary key बनाना है, then I cannot afford to write in front of ADNO primary key as well as in front of BID primary key. तो वो दो primary key तो नहीं बनाने देगा separately, है ना? So then we go to a second method जो होता है इसमें, which is called as table level constraint. By table level constraint, it simply means that overall पूरे table के constraints हम लोग नीचे in continuation with the fields का specification, I put it here. So when I put the constraint in front of the field, I'm calling it field level constraint. When I'm putting it at the end, which becomes arbitrary for me for foreign key and this thing, composite primary key also. Plus places like I want to say B name भी not null होना चाहिए, cost भी not null होना चाहिए, कोई और field है वो भी not null होना चाहिए. तो हर जगह बार बार in front of the field you write not null. Instead of that you do it at the end by writing not null once and field names multiple, which actually doesn't really help out much. So I'm not giving that example, but primary key is very helpful because हम primary key और field level तरीके से कर ही नहीं सकते when I want a composite key. Possible ही नहीं है, right? Rest of the things are still possible. But for multiple field wala primary key, it is not possible only. Okay. So let us do it now here. Okay. So let's start creating the table here now. Create table library. Enter ADNO. Acha, one more thing to be taken care of. Your primary key and foreign key का ना data type and width should be same. Don't उसको एक primary key int है और foreign key को character बना दिया. Don't do that. It has to be same specifications, right? So if we have any doubt, let's keep those tables handy in front of me. Describe STU1 so that I know what specifications I've given, and DESC BO1. Okay, bold my specifications are there in front of me. And let's move on to creating the table library. Create table library. Okay. ADNO. int वो, अब इसके सामने हम कुछ नहीं लिख रहे, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट bid char और इसके सामने भी हम कुछ नहीं लिख रहे। देन कम्स doi date, ओके, यू may put date based constraint यहाँ पे जो लॉजिकल हो विद डेट। देन आई टॉक अबाउट dor, and capital small case in this case doesn't really matter, so I'm showing it to you with both the specifications, ठीक है। all चारों fields are written. Now here I start writing the constraints. Primary key first. I want to create a primary key with a combination of ADNO and it's not plus, please. It is a comma. So combination of ADNO and date of issue. 3 fields का बनाना है, 4 fields का बनाना है, जितने को भी बनाना है, you can put it by commas. Primary key done. Now I talk about foreign key. Check the way we have to write it. Which field I want to make as my foreign key? I want to make my admission number as the foreign key. ADNO. पहला, दूसरा मेरा BID होगा। So ADNO को बनाना है। अब यहाँ पे एक टर्म हम यूज करते हैं रेफरेंसेस, REFERENCES, मतलब किसको रेफर कर रहा हूँ। सिंपल इंग्लिश वे में याद रखना, फॉरेन की, I want to make ADNO as my foreign key. It is going to refer to the STU1 table का ADNO field. So you're telling him everything. This in this table, ADNO is the foreign key and it is going to refer to ADNO of the student 1 table, comma, another foreign key. BID references BO1, oh नहीं, B01 होगा, BO1 का BID. Closure of the table वाला half circle and then semicolon. Okay, let's see the description and try to figure out किसने ऐसा कुछ लिखा या नहीं लिखा।
हमें रेफरेंस से फॉरेन की में यूज होता है।
हाँ, रेफरेंसेस सिर्फ फॉरेन की में यूज होता है। एंड आपको बिकॉज यू वांट टू टेल हिम ना, रेफर करो उस फील्ड को, तो उसी नाम से याद रखो। दिस फॉरेन की इज रेफरिंग टू अ कंसर्न प्राइमरी की समवेयर एल्स, सो दैट इज व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग हिम। ये देखो, उसने ऐसा कुछ 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 लिखा है। ADNO is the primary key also. Primary key are there twice. And because primary है तो not null is not allowed. I mean null is not allowed. BID में it's writing here MUL. Don't ask me the full form of MUL, मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा, ठीक है। बट फॉरेन की जब आप बनाओगे तो ये ऐसा आएगा, बिकॉज ADNO यहाँ पे पार्ट ऑफ प्राइमरी की भी है, इट इज नॉट एबल टू शो इट यू कॉमा करके MUL डजंट शो यू लाइक दैट। बट एक इंडिपेंडेंट जो मेरा फील्ड है विच इज नॉट अ प्राइमरी की, पार्ट ऑफ द प्राइमरी की थिंग, तो दिस इज हाउ यू नो दैट इट इज अ फॉरेन की। यहाँ पे की में इट इज राइटिंग MUL। MUL को फुल फॉर्म याद नहीं आ रहा मुझे, नॉट फुल फॉर्म, पार्ट ऑफ the term which I am not able to currently kind of figure out. Okay, so this tells you that this is a foreign key. Now let's quickly insert a data to check whether it's actually implementing it or not. In order to see that, let me just pick up both the data, whatever I've entered. This is in the student table and this is in the BO1 table. Okay, now I try to insert the data. Insert into library values. Okay, library field has got admission number. Admission number should be 1000 or 1001 because यहाँ पे मेरे पास यही 2 students available है स्कूल में, so यही 2 बुक इशू करते हैं। But if I try to enter 1003, okay, then let's quickly put the other values also. नहीं, then is book ID. Let the book ID be correct. एक गलत एक सही करते हैं। P10 and then it's the name of the person. No, it's date of issue. So date of issue is suppose 2024 March 11th, and date of return is as of now null. अभी तक उसने किताब वापस नहीं करी suppose. अब देखो, cannot add or update a child row, a foreign key constraint failure. Okay, and the whole description it is given you. कि admission number का reference is student 1 का admission number. There's a problem. Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Now
मैम
let
एक
me.
बार आप ऊपर कर सकते हो?
हाँ जी, sure. Or let me increase this if you can. Refer to the ऊपर as well as नीचे वाला. What do you want to see, beta?
Ma'am, just the foreign keys and other things.
Acha, okay. Now I rectified by adding that, okay, the person Abhas only has issued the book, B10, and date of return अभी उसका नहीं है, and it is accepted. Is it fine? So that is how these constraints actually work. And when you are going to enter the values, it's going to check it, whether it is following all the constraints you have put or not. I mean, applying it. And if there is any violation, it will prompt. Foreign key constraint fails. Done? Or there's still some problem coming up? Jishant, can I get some response from you to feel that you're alive? Are you
Yes,
noting it
ma'am.
down? Oh, wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, noting it down. Is your SQL not installed?
No, ma'am.
Please do it today.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Or else practice it on pesa.io and send me the screenshot.
Okay, ma'am.
Please do it. These things are completely practical, beta. Concept अगर आपको समझ में आ गया है तो you may write it in your own words if they ask you for foreign key description. Right? And if you do this much, you understand it excellently. तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है फिर उस चीज को एक्सप्लेन करना पेपर में, है ना? एक सिनेरियो डेफिनेटली अपने दिमाग में रखना है, एंड आई मेक दिस एज योर बेस सिनेरियो. इफ दे गिव यू 3 marker और 2 marker की एक्सप्लेन करो विद एन एग्जांपल or show an example where you have multiple foreign keys in a table. So you have an example ready in your mind. तब सोचने बैठोगे और वो इतना appropriate होगा नहीं होगा logical होगा, all that comes to our mind. So keep one example handy for foreign key for the exam purpose. But I believe understanding is definitely more important. And if you practice it, then nothing like it. Okay? My constraints portion is done. I'll quickly have a practical for the aggregate functions also tomorrow before I move on to the next topic. Certain things we need to do with aggregate functions. And the worksheet I'll try to share tomorrow, which you can practice for the SQL now. And then we start with the select command, maybe from Monday or Friday. If you are finished practicing, doing this part, you may leave. Others may take a few minutes to do it, so that if you get stuck, I can ask you to share.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you send the screenshot of these codes?
Yeah, sure, I'll send it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Others who are doing, were you able to finish? Bhavjot, Raghav, Lavanya, Maitri, Yashvi.
Ma'am, I have retained the register.
Ma'am, a bit is left doing that.
Acha, chalo, okay.
Ma'am, I'm done. Can I leave?
Yes, you can leave if you have done it.
Okay.
Raghav, please take time noting them down in the notebook also. Screen पे तो रहेगा नहीं ना बेटा, एक बार नोट कर लेना मेथड.
Okay, ma'am.
ओके.
हम कल की क्लास से क्या क्या नोट कर रहे हैं नोटबुक में?
कल की क्लास में हमने कंस्ट्रेंट्स किया फॉरेन की वाला ना.
हम वो पीपीटीज में वो स्क्रीनशॉट
हाँ,
लेना भूल गया.
पीपीटीज में से मैं भेज देती हूँ, हाईलाइट करके भेज देती हूँ क्या क्या आपको पिक करना बस.
एंड क्यों याद करे तो सारा ही लिखना है.
आज का तो एग्जाम्पल तीनों लिखोगे ना, मतलब इस प्रोसेस समझ में नहीं आएगा.
ओके मैम.
ओके.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ma'am, done, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Shaurya, I didn't hear anything from you. Are you doing it?
Ma'am, done, ma'am. I'm leaving, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Lavanya, it is done?
Maybe my last line is written. It's showing some error in time.
Okay. Showing some error? Wait. I'll
It's just